My name is Matthew Coast. Welcome to Commitment Connection. Today we're going to be talking about the secret to connecting deeply with a man's heart so that he falls in love. And today I have one of my favorite people in the world with us, and that is Helena Hart. She is an amazing, wonderful coach, and we've been working together for a long time. And it's really, honestly, it's really awesome. I don't get to interact with Helena as much as I'd like to. And so I'm really excited about doing this live stream today with Helena. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Helena.
Oh my gosh, you always have me in tears every time we start a live stream because I love your words of appreciation. You're very welcome. I'm so excited. This is very last minute. I just finished a live stream on my channel and I gave Matt a call and he said, I'm about to go live on Commitment Connection. So I decided to join. So thank you guys so much. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about connecting with a man's heart. And specifically, what I'd like to start off with is talking a little bit about what prevents most women from connecting with a man's heart, and what are some of the obstacles? Like, what do they do that are mistakes? Like, what do you think about that, Helena?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, right off the top of my head, I would say a lot of women try to connect with a man in the wrong way. They think maybe creating a physical connection or a really great mental connection is like the way into his heart. And while obviously having a good physical connection and a mental connection, even a spiritual connection, those are all great things, but they're not the right road to love, so to speak. In other words, the way to connect to a man's heart is always through your own heart first. It's just the only way. I say that all the time, is if you're up in your head trying to create some connection or do something physically or mentally because you think that's going to create, stir something into creation with a man, it's always the wrong way to go. It's always about going deep within yourself and connecting to your own heart, your own feminine energy, and your own emotions. And then expressing yourself coming from that place, that's what connects to a man's heart. And of course, Matt, I'd love to hear your perspective on that as a man too. But yeah, from my perspective, if you're trying to make a man fall in love by connecting with him physically or mentally, you might get a great friends with benefits, you might get a great buddy or maybe business partner or something, but that's not what makes a man fall deeply in love and see you as that one woman he never wants to let go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I have a saying that I use for this, which is get in your head and the date is dead, right?
Oh,
so
I like that.
If you get into your head, and a lot of women do this, and even guys do this, right? And what ends up happening is it becomes kind of this mechanical thing, right? Because what a lot of women do is they'll get all up in their head, or they come to the date with this checklist of things that they're looking to do and looking to find out about this guy. And so they come in and it's like, it's like you're sitting down and a doctor's like diagnosing you or something like, when was the last time you went on a date? How many women have you slept with? And, what is your job and how much money do you make? And it's just like, for the guy, I mean, it depends. Like, that specific conversation, by the way, is a horrible, horrible conversation to have. And almost any guy that you have a conversation like that with will probably never want to see you again. And so really what you want to do, in my opinion, because when if you're in your head, even if it's not necessarily what I was just talking about, but if you're in your head, it's like when you're talking to a guy and a guy's talking to you, even if he is like looking to have fun and he's trying to connect with you, they'll feel like there's something missing. Right. It might feel like, oh yeah, we have a lot of things in common and I get along with this person a lot and it's fun talking to this person, but it's not that passionate, like, wow, like this woman is amazing. And, I just love talking to her and I just can't wait to see her again. And, I got to make sure I play my cards right and make sure that, everything goes well. So I don't, run her off and I got to put in effort and, I got to make sure that I prove myself to her and she knows that, I'm good enough for her. Right. Which is what the kind of the mindset that you'd prefer to have than the mindset of you trying to prove yourself to him. And so if you're just in your head, that's what ends up happening. Right.
Totally.
You get to the space where he doesn't feel it with you. He doesn't feel that connection. And that's ultimately what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's when men say, and we can do this too. You know, well, they're really attractive, sort of on paper, it makes sense, but I'm just not feeling it, right? It's that deeper connection wasn't created. So yeah, I'd love to get into some specifics on how to get out of your head and into your body. It can be a difficult thing for everyone, myself included, especially if you really like someone, you have strong feelings for them, or you're really attracted to them. There's this tendency to want to go right up into your head. What should I say next? What's he thinking? What's he thinking? Does he like me? Is he having a good time? All of these things kind of disconnect us from our true selves, from our heart, and therefore block our ability to connect with him. So yeah, I'd love to go more in depth on how to do that.
Yeah. So, what's one of the first ways that you do that if you wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see the questions and comments coming in, by the way. If anyone has questions about their situation, we'd love to answer too.
Yeah. So by the way, before you go into that, Helena, yeah, if you have a question about your situation, put it in the chat. If you just want to say hi and let us know where you are, it's cool to see all these women all over the world watching these live streams. So just say hi in the chat, and if you have a question, let us know what it is, and when we get done, we'll go through all the questions and find out what's going on with everyone.
Yeah, we love connecting with you guys. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad I decided to jump on with you last minute. This is like so much fun. I miss doing this. So yeah, just if you want to give like a quick tool to get out of your head and into your body, a lot of women have a hard time with this. I can certainly struggle with this myself sometimes. It's all about connecting to your body. So you can't really be up in your head analyzing a man or thinking or overthinking a situation and in your body at the same time. So if you're having trouble connecting to a feeling, go for a body sensation, right? Just catch yourself. Everyone right now can do this. Are you leaning forward? Do you feel some kind of tension in your body? Are you up in your head thinking or worried about something that might happen in the future, or like beating yourself up over something that happened recently in the past? These are things we hear about all the time from women, right? Just imagine taking all of those thoughts and like dropping them down into your body and just seeing if you can feel some kind of like tension there. You might feel some tension in your shoulders or your back, or you might feel a knot in your stomach, and just kind of place all your awareness there and actually lean back. You can do this next time you're with a man. Actually physically lean back and just kind of put your awareness in your body. And it sounds so simple, but you can't be up in your head and doing this at the same time. So this will kind of connect you to your heart. It's kind of like a gateway into your deeper feelings. So once you do that, once you're kind of out of your head and into your body, feelings might start to bubble up. You might feel a sense of excitement or nervousness, which is not a bad thing at all. You might feel grief or sadness, or something might start to come up. You might just feel moved. You might not be able to like put a label on it. You might just feel some kind of vague emotion, or maybe you feel numb, and just kind of put your awareness there. And if you're doing this along with me, you notice when you're doing this, you stopped thinking about what's this guy thinking? Does he like me? How is this all going? Where's this relationship headed? Right? And I know it sounds really simple, but it's kind of like the most attractive thing in the world to a man. If you are not so focused on him for a second, you're just kind of in your body, intuiting what's going on around you, really experiencing the moment, feeling the air on your skin, listening to him, looking in his eyes, much more attractive than being up in your head, being super chatty, trying to like keep the conversation going and ask him a million questions. Right, Matt? I mean, what's your experience with this been?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's all about that connection and feeling yourself and feeling what's going on with you. And sometimes some women that I've talked to have kind of worried about like, well, what if I'm in kind of a bad mood, or there's something else that's going on there? And there's a couple different things that I have to say about that. One is practice. Right. There's a practice of connecting to yourself and connecting to your emotions and connecting to the emotions that you want to have. I hear a lot of women sometimes talk to me and they're like, well, what if I'm in this kind of a mood, then I'm just in that kind of a mood, and that's just who I am, and all that kind of nonsense. Right. And a lot of people don't actually know that you can control the emotions that you're experiencing on a moment-to-moment basis. Like, for instance, let's say that you want to experience something where, let's say that you want to experience feeling confident. What you can do is just think about a time in your life where you experienced feeling confident, and just get into that experience that you had, and remembering a time in your life when you experienced something in as much vivid detail as you can will actually trick your brain and turn your brain so that you start like actually physically, emotionally experiencing that right now in the moment. And so once you do that, you can start feeling really confident, or start feeling love, or start feeling passion, or start feeling whatever it is that you want to feel, excitement, right? Curiosity, any of those positive emotions that allow you to connect more with somebody and kind of transfer. There's this thing that I call the law of belief transference, which is whoever's belief is the strongest transfers that belief onto somebody else. Well, there's also a truth around that in regards to your emotions. If you come to a situation and you're emotionally up, and maybe you've had this happen with you before, where somebody came over and maybe you were down and they were just like having fun and joking, you know, and if they're stronger, if their like emotions are stronger, they're more rooted in their emotion, they'll actually pick you up and you'll start, you know, getting happy and having fun too. And you're like, oh, I'm so happy that, you know, you came over and talked to me, because now all of a sudden I'm in this good mood, right? And so you can connect with your emotions, and you can practice doing that. And the more you practice being in certain emotions, the more that you will naturally start to experience those. And then when you get into your body, it's not like this horrible, weird thing. It's like, yeah, I'm experiencing all this, you know, these amazing emotions that I have because I'm a woman and I'm filled with, you know, all these emotions in a way that a lot of guys aren't. And then when you bring that to a man, when you bring some emotions, specifically emotions like playfulness, right? Like there's this kind of playfulness emotion where, you know, there's certain acts that you can do that are playful, but there's also an experience of who you are that is playful. And when you bring that into a situation, you're just having fun and, you know, you're just joking and you're just playing around and stuff, that can be incredibly attractive to a guy, because it signifies youthfulness, and it signifies, you know, all of these kind of feminine things, and that he ends up connecting to, which creates curiosity in him and starts making him have a fun time. And, you know, if nothing else, he's just enjoying, you know, you being there in your presence, which is really, really cool as well.
It's interesting. Yeah, I like how you said all that. From my experience, it's like as women, we can be feeling all kinds of things all at the same time. We can be feeling emotional about something that happened yesterday, and we can be feeling really excited because we're with the guy that we really like. I just, like 15 minutes ago, just finished doing a live stream over on my channel on my recent experience with major depression and some physical pain, that issues I've been going through over the past year that's like triggered emotional pain. And the fact that doesn't make me any less magnetic or attractive to any desire that I have, because it's a part of who you are. In other words, if you're cut off from one feeling, you're cut off from them all. So even just like sticking a toe in and getting comfortable feeling something, whatever that is, even if it is grief or sadness or something, all the good feelings are right next to those. But if you're resisting some of the negative feelings and you're trying to just to push them down and rise above them, if you ever hear that term, like what you resist persists, the more you try and resist it and stuff it down and not feel your feelings, the more you're cut off from all of those other feelings that you describe, like playfulness and joy. They're all in there together. At least that's the way I like to think of it. So you want to go into some of those things and really just feel them and really love and accept and embrace all of the feelings that are coming up in you, even the ones that don't feel so good. Going into them is like the way to get through them and on to the next better feeling place, in my experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm guessing that some of the women that are watching this right now are probably like, yeah, but how am I going to connect with his heart? How does this have anything to do with connecting to his heart? And this has everything to do with connecting to his heart, because if you're not in your emotions and you're not connecting to your emotions and you're holding on to, you know, just, you know, all kinds of different emotions that you're not open to, and you're not allowing yourself to fully experience, what's going to end up happening is he's going to feel that when you're around him, right? He's going to feel that you're kind of closed off. He's going to feel that you're kind of attached and you're resisting kind of these things that are going on in you. And you're going to have these outbursts and stuff because that's just what naturally happens. And when you're in it, you don't even know that you're in it. And you don't know that those are things that you're expressing and are coming out of you, but everybody else around you can sense it, or they can feel it, or they look at you and they're like, oh, there's something weird going on with her. Right. And so you definitely have to get through, and I don't want to call it like cleansing or anything, but it's, just getting through those emotions, any kinds of, resistance that you've built up to any types of emotions that are going on, pains that you have in your past, or whatever that you have, you need to go through those emotions, either go through them or change your story around them. Right. That's another way to change things, is change your emotional state, is to completely change the story that you have around your emotions. Because if you change your story, like for instance, I have a story that many of the women on our channel have heard before, where I talk about how my mom and my dad basically abandoned me when I was younger, right? Like my mom one day just dropped me off at my dad's house, and my dad one day sent me to go live with my grandmother. And from those experiences, I felt really abandoned. And for a long time in my life, I felt like I had to prove myself to the world. And so I came from this place of lack, and people knew it, right? Because I was constantly trying to prove that I was worthy for people's friendships and for relationships I was in, and, all these things. And I was always coming from a place of lack, and I was always trying to prove myself. And what ended up happening for me was I had a realization one day that my family actually loved me when I was a child, and that I was actually born into love. And when I switched my story from the story of I was this kid that was abandoned by my parents, to this story of I was born in love, and my parents loved me, and they did the best they could with me, and things happened and they didn't know what to do. All of a sudden it went from I'm trying to prove myself all the time to, I feel really strong and powerful in myself, and I have more than enough love to give to other people. I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to suck it out of other people. I don't, I'm not needy and desperate and clingy and stuff for this love. And I'm not going to, push love away from me, because I'm enough as I am, and I can accept anybody's love and gifts and, whatever else they have. And so I'm not sure what the point was to that one.
No, I love that. Shifting your story. That is beautiful. I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about it in that way before. Shifting your story, shifting your perspective in terms of getting into your emotions, right? I think that's really great. I think that's great. Yeah. I love what you said too. People in general, but especially men, I think are really sensitive. They can feel the disconnect. In other words, if you're feeling really upset or angry or something like that on the inside, but you're trying to like play it cool or paste a fake smile on your face, and you're just kind of quiet and trying to hold it together on the outside, men can feel that. They can feel the disconnect. They can feel the stuff in the air and the incongruence in your vibe. And it makes them feel either unsafe to come close to you often, or it makes them feel like they can't trust you because you don't feel safe with yourself or expressing yourself. So I think it's much better just to let it all out. Of course, you don't want to just like do this emotional vomit on a guy or blame him or make him wrong, but just saying like, wow, yeah, I felt a little emotional today, or I felt sad watching that part of the movie or something like that. That's what builds the intimacy and connects you with his heart. If you're truly feeling that way on the inside, then you can get through it onto the other side, rather than stuffing it down, resisting it, trying to be perfect, trying to put your best foot forward always. That disconnect is what kind of blocks his ability to get close to you, in my experience.
Yeah, absolutely.